In January 2022, at least 2 studies from different research institutions show that cannabidiol, CBD, and 2 other related chemical compounds found in hemp may hold promise in the prevention and/or treatment of COVID-19. The 2 studies published in January 2022 found an association between the ingestion of certain non-psychoactive cannabinoids and negative COVID-19 tests, in one case indicating that the hemp compounds may prevent SARS-CoV-2 infection in human cells. Well, in the other study, CBD was shown to inhibit the replication of the virus in infected cells. However, these studies were done in human cells and in mice, and not humans. Joining us to talk more about this, Dr. Alex McGregor, Professor of Pharmaceutics and Clinical Pharmacology. He's visiting from Canada. He joins us here in Lagos via Zoom. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Professor, just before we go to that study, I know you just returned from Canada. I would like to get your reaction on the actions that began there and that we've seen spread to other countries, the truckers and their position on vaccines.
Yes, well, as you know, Canada is one of the most liberal and freest country in the world. The truckers are protesting against excessive restrictions coming from the pandemic, COVID restrictions. Understandably so, because it's been quite a while since COVID has been a pandemic, and naturally people get frustrated and they're protesting against the restrictions that the government put in place. However, the governments have relaxed some of those restrictions now. It appears things are getting back to normality. Some of the blockades have been opened now, and the governments have actually revoked the Emergency Act that they were going to impose to deal with the blockades.
So I guess there's still some confidence in the government to curb the spread of COVID. Let's now talk about this study. Can cannabis prevent COVID-19 infection?
Well, there's potential that it can actually do that, specifically CBD, cannabidiol. It has been tested in vitro, and it has been shown that even CBDA, that is the acid form of CBD, is actually more effective in actually sensitizing the cells and preventing the virus from either entering the cells or actually preventing the virus from replicating itself after it enters the cells. Quite interestingly, CBDA, which is the acid form, is what you consume orally, and it's often it becomes CBD when you actually decarboxylate it by burning. For instance, if you acquire it through the plant, you might have to burn it if people are smoking it. But these is medicinal cannabis that have been tested, highly purified cannabis, about 98% pure, that contain CBD. So the studies are quite promising. However, we have to be cautiously optimistic because clinical trials have not really confirmed these studies as yet.
So in terms of how it will best work, break down the CBD, CBDA for us. In terms of something orally ingested, like a pill, and this we're talking, of course, the prospects from something that is smoked.
Correct. So the CBD, as it were, it's actually non-psychoactive component from the cannabis sativa plant. So, it doesn't, what I mean by that, for a layperson, it's the component that doesn't make you high. The THC is what makes you high. Now, to get the plant itself does not express CBD and THC per se. It expresses the acid forms, the CBDA and THCA. It's only after you actually burn it or you decarboxylate it, but with heat, that it converts into THC and CBD. So essentially, in the native plant, you have this active component that is in acid form that happen to have a medicinal property that if consumed orally as opposed to smoking or burning it, would actually have a significant beneficial effect as far as COVID-19 and other viral infection is concerned.
Well, we can't wait to see what the future holds for natural products, especially to tackling COVID. We'd like to thank you, Professor Alex Olusegun-McGregor, Professor of Pharmaceutics, Clinical Pharmacology. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.